This program is proudly brought to you by Puma Energy and proudly supported by BSB, official sponsor of the 2015 Pacific Games, and New Guinea, exclusive carrier for the 2015 Pacific Games, and Coral Sea Hotels, preferred accommodation provider of the 2015 Pacific Games.
Good evening and welcome to Road to Port Moresby 2015. In this episode, we speak to Takale Tuna, a member of the Fantastic Four that ran and won gold in the 1991 Games, and Eurest Catering Services Limited General Manager Gavin Watson tells us how his company plans on catering 175,000 meals for the athletes as of the 1st of July. Now, in this first segment, we visit Nelson Stone's family home. His parents, Jamuga and Susan, both speak of their son's upbringing and how he went from following his father's footsteps to taking up Taekwondo to later switching codes to athletics and becoming the current national record holder for the 200-meter sprint event. Here is Nelson Stone's story.
From the Central Province with a mixed heritage of hula and kairuku, Nelson Stone had a quiet upbringing. A playful and energized child, Taekwondo was always a part of his childhood, as Father Jamuga Stone was an athlete himself. Nelson's mother, Susan Killer Stone, spoke of her son's upbringing with much delight.
Nelson was a quiet person, quiet boy, and always very playful. And he was always playing around with his friends and all that. And otherwise, he was a quiet boy.
Coming from a very sports-oriented family, Nelson's father, Jamuga, a pro Taekwondo athlete himself, while elder brother Andrew Stone came from a rugby league background with his involvement with the PNG Hunters and Kumals. Becoming a professional athlete was a goal well within Nelson's reach. At just 6 years old, Nelson took up Taekwondo and became the youngest Papua New Guinean to ever win gold at an international competition.
Well, Nelson, we all know that our family sport is Taekwondo. And him and his elder brother Andrew, I would say the top fighters in Papua New Guinea in the 90s. And Nelson, I was looking at him because he has this killer instinct that he can go places with Taekwondo, and he did. He traveled South Pacific, Oceania region, went to Australia a couple of times, won a couple of trophies and awards while in Taekwondo. At least it was like a blessing. Nobody knew who Nelson was. He didn't come through as Taekwondo as a 9-year-old or 8-year-old through up to the ranks. Nelson just popped out from somewhere. I want to say to the nation that because of martial arts training that made him really strong, that what you see in Nelson today is killer instinct, and that's the reason why he broke all the national records, because of his willingness to strive hard in the sport that he takes.
His change in sporting interest from Taekwondo to athletics came about because of his mother's influence. Susan had always had the belief in her son that he had the potential to be one of Papua New Guinea's renowned sprinters. At the age of 23, Nelson Stone took his mother's advice and represented Papua New Guinea in athletics at the 2007 South Pacific Games in Apia, Samoa.
Until when they had those times, they used to have this sports carnival in the schools, and then I took him to this Tokara community. There was this schools carnival, so I had to take him there. It was at the stadium, and when I saw him, he ran in the 100 meters. It was at the stadium, and I went there. I took him there, and then he ran and he came first. And then I thought to myself that he should take up athletics.
I grew up as a Taekwondo practitioner under my dad, but as the year went by, I think Mom was the one that stepped in and encouraged me to take up athletics, and yeah, it's been a fantastic ride at the moment.
Nelson created a name for himself when he won gold in the 400-meter sprint, at the 2011 Pacific Games in Nouméa, New Caledonia. Through his determination, Nelson now holds the PNG national record in the 200-meter and 400-meter events.
You know, at that year in 2007, I wasn't part of the national team. I was completely outside, but when I got the inspiration from my mom and encouragement from my mom, took up athletics, and then within a few months I was already inside, made it into the national team. It's the most amazing feeling, making it to the national team. It's the greatest achievement in your life.
All right, they're away this 200 metres, getting a good start there. Sean Rowe in the middle of the field. They're taking up to Andrew McKay, the big tall figure in the red on the outside, but Sean Rowe having a great first 200 metres. And on the outside, Daniel Martin, the 110-metre hurdles. Early Sydney having a great run. McKay turning to the end, and the Queensland's going to be up.
A great individual from a very humbling upbringing to now one of Papua New Guinea's most renowned sprinters, Nelson dedicates his time and experience to developing the youth of Tokarara in the nation's capital.
Apart from my sporting career, my busy schedule and my athletics, I love hanging out with my friends, trying to encourage them about about taking up sports. And I do a lot of I talk to a lot of youths around this area and other places. That's my hobby. I like to go and talk to my friends and help them.
His never say die charisma continues as he takes no time off in preparation for the 2015 Pacific Games.
While the deadline for final selections, Takale Tuna was a household name in the 1980s and is now one of the best athletes ever produced through the National Sporting Institute. His success speaks volumes for the athletics contingent, and Takale Tuna, alongside many others like Subu Babo, have set the benchmark for athletes to follow. In this segment, he speaks of his sporting success and offers his advice to athletes representing Team PNG at the 2015 Pacific Games on home soil.
Takale Tuna, a sporting legend and a household name in the 1980s, was one of the best athletes ever produced through the National Sporting Institute. The East New Britain-based athlete went on to win 23 medals for Papua New Guinea, 11 gold, 7 silver and 5 bronze throughout his sporting career from 1980 to 1991.
Running in the men's 400 meters, it's a very fast start. Tuifalag in New Caledonia moving up on the inside of Furim in lane 2. On the outside is the Fijian, Driu and Dauna Kamakama that are moving very fast. But up close with them is Tuna and Babo.
Tuna was an all-rounder, from playing softball, rugby league and to the sport that gave him his recognition, athletics. The 1991 South Pacific Games was one of the greatest achievements for him, winning 3 gold medals for Papua New Guinea.
Dauna Kamakama and Driu. 250 minutes to go. The Papua New Guineans are making their move. It's Subu Babo and Takale Tuna coming in the bend, but here comes Babo Duama on the inside lane. Takale Tuna and Subu Babo hit the front. It's 70 minutes to go. Papua New Guinea got to be 1, 2, 3. Subu Babo, Takale Tuna, they're coming down with 20 minutes to go. Here comes Babo Duama, but it's Subu Babo going to take the gold medal. Takale Tuna second, Babo Duama. PNG 1, 2, 3. 46.7 seconds, unofficial.
Actually, it was it's about 4 years preparation for that performance in 1991. I had a good group of people around me who supported me. We had a good bunch of young members of the team who trained with me and lived with me, and then we trained in Goroka basically, and then we had a very good coach in Tom Brandt who came up with the idea of actually having an elite squad.
Takale says the 1991 Games was a life-changing experience. It was and still remains the highlight of his life and his athletics career.
And of course the man himself, Carpool making his way for the grand opening. The two identical twins making their way onto the track.
There are two highlights of my career. Basically, it's the beginning and the end. In 1985, I came out as a junior from National High School, a 19-year-old, and I went to the Rarotonga Mini South Pacific Games in 1995, and I just blew away the field. I won the 100 meters, the 200 meters, the 400 meters. That's the sprint treble. Nobody has ever done that, so that was an exciting time for me. I was raw, no training whatsoever, but I just went there, and then that's when I got the attention of the Athletics Union and the Sports Federation and the rest. So they kept me, they got me then, they kept me until 91 when, again, that was the highlight of my career. And also I decided to quit in 1991 because I did almost everything. I've been to the Commonwealth, the World Championships, World Cup, and culminating in winning the games for Papua New Guinea in 1991. I thought that was a nice time to actually call it quits. So.
Takale's sporting excellence was influenced from his family's sporting background. Former sports personnel and politician Sir John Caputin was an uncle to Takale Tuna and pushed him towards achieving his athletic goals.
I think my inspiration is from my two uncles, namely John Caputin, who was a former sprinter, former sportsman, first Papua New Guinean to play against the whites, and very famous politician from Matupi. So.
Given his achievements in the last games held in Papua New Guinea and now a recognizable sporting figure in the nation, Takale's advice to all athletes is to make the most of the golden opportunity given to perform and compete on home soil.
There's nothing better than running in your home crowd. I felt it, I was there, I contributed to it, and I tell you the feeling is immense. You have pride. There will be over 20,000 people, at the back of you, encouraging you along. So if you're looking for motivation, I think the home ground advantage is at your fingertips. So just concentrate, focus on what you've been training for in the last few years, and just give it your very best. And the outcome will take care of itself.
Takale Tuna second, Babaduama, PNG, 1, 2, 3. 46.7 seconds, unofficial.
With the responsibility of providing 175,000 meals for athletes commencing on July 1, 2015, Eurest Catering Services Limited are hard at work in ensuring that athletes will be well looked after. Upon securing the catering contract for the Games in August, it has been hectic for the company as they embark on making sure that all athletes' meals are catered for. With a new state-of-the-art dining hall under construction at the Games Village, the company is excited at the prospect of fulfilling all dietary requirements. Road to Port Moresby recently spoke to Eurest General Manager for Central Australia and Papua New Guinea, Gavin Watson.
With preparations for the 2015 Pacific Games gaining momentum, the Games Host Organising Committee has been working hard to ensure all aspects of the Games are covered. Among them, making sure that all athletes and officials are well fed. Eurest Catering Services Limited has been awarded the contract to cater for all athletes and officials who will be in Port Moresby for the Pacific Games. Road to Port Moresby 2015 recently sat down with Gavin Watson, Area Manager, Eurest PNG Catering Services Limited, to get an update on their preparations towards the 2015 Pacific Games.
Eurest provides catering support services to a variety of different clients, including remote mining locations as well as education sites across PNG.
And how many staff does Eurest have in Fiji?
So currently Eurest employs over 800 staff, but that includes our managed entities, our managed business entities, as well as our joint venture partners and Eurest itself. Oh, look, it's very exciting. You know, these sorts of opportunities don't come along very often, and I can tell you that our team is ecstatic about it. So there's already been a lot of planning that's gone into it. So everyone's counting the days until the games commence. Oh, look, we're very prepared. We do this sort of thing on an ongoing basis across all of our different clients. So we serve large numbers at the universities as well as some of our mining camps. So you know, we've got the knowledge and the background, you know, to provide these services. So Eurest has developed dietary requirements aren't something that's they're not uncommon to Eurest. Okay, so we get a lot of those sorts of things, and we have health, safety and quality advisors on board that assist in the development and the management of food on sites to ensure that we provide a full list of all allergens in our products. We also get our menus analysed by a dietitian prior to the games commencing. All we need is the information to come through to Eurest, and we'll do that by engaging the different athletes leaders from each country to understand what their special needs would be. We'll document them down so we've got a record. Our menus are also developed so they do have a variety of choices that are readily available, you know, such as for vegetarians, gluten-free, lactose intolerant, etc. So there are some products that are already ready without any further development. Catering's at our core, that's what we do. So a lot of the staff that are going to be working in 2015 games are currently employed by Eurest, and they train in food safety and they revisit it on a regular basis. In saying that, we will be employing a large number of people to the games, so there may be some new employees coming on board. So that's where our health, safety, environment and quality managers will step in, and they'll provide that training to those new employees before they start operating in the games. Then they'll also be monitored throughout the actual games in the kitchen or dining room by our management team. Yeah, look, absolutely. We'll be sourcing as many products as we can from PNG. There will be a few products, but our big model in regards to the game was really about supporting local business and industry. Yeah, look, there will be some traditional PNG food. So as I was referring to earlier, we have a number of managed entity groups, and we're going to be engaging with the landowners from different regions for them to put forward some ideas of products that they would like to see on the menu. So we have our core menu in place, but there will be a few bits and pieces that will pop up over the course of the games. No, look, to ensure quality, all the cooking will be based at the actual games village itself. So Eurest has been lucky enough to be involved in the development of the kitchen and understand what facilities we'll have, and we've been able to put forward what we'll need. And they've been very accommodating, so we're absolutely confident that we can produce everything needed on site, which will improve the quality of the product and ensure, you know, the athlete satisfaction. you know, Eurest would be absolutely interested in supporting volunteers if that was required. And, you know, our model was based around, you know, all employees being paid for the services that they provide. But I believe there will be some engagement with the volunteers of the PNG 15 Games. Well, the menu itself will be very diverse. So, you know, wide variety of products each day, from freshly baked breads, as well as, you know, specialty desserts, but plus the core items that people that rely on and, you know, looks familiar to people on a daily basis, comfort food essentially. So good hearty meals to, you know, do their best in the games in the end, you know, where they provide a service to make sure that they can do their best on the day. So.
That's all for this evening on Road to Port Moresby 2015. Join me in a fortnight as we highlight Team Fiji's preparations for the Pacific Games, and the PNG Olympic Committee holds a coaching conference in Port Moresby in which Road to Port Moresby caught up with Team PNG chef de mission Richard Passman, members of the PNGOC, and Aaron Alsop and Tom Frost of the High Performance Training Centre. All that and more in a fortnight. For now, it's good night and have a pleasant evening.
This program was proudly brought to you by Puma Energy and proudly supported by BSB, official sponsor of the 2015 Pacific Games, and New Guinea, exclusive carrier for the 2015 Pacific Games, and Coral Sea Hotels, preferred accommodation provider of the 2015 Pacific Games.